This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
A dangerous or life-threatening situation exists on campus.
Tonight on Eyewitness News at 6, we continue to follow the investigation underway at Florida State University in the wake of a deadly mass shooting.
Needless to say, we have multiple crime scenes. This is a very large area we're covering. We have hundreds or thousands of witnesses.
We're live with the latest updates from the scene.
And we begin this hour with that breaking news from Florida State University. We now know 2 people are dead. They are not students. 6 are injured, and police say the shooter is the son of a Leon County deputy and used his mother's personal weapon to commit this heinous crime. We have team coverage from Tallahassee as we gather the latest information from the ground. Good evening. I'm Martha Sigalski.
And I'm Darlene Jones. Certainly a difficult day for our local community. So many with children there in Tallahassee. Here's what we know right now about the shooting. Florida State Police identified the shooter as 20-year-old Phoenix Ikner, the son, again, of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy. Tallahassee police say they found a weapon at the scene that was his mother's former service weapon, and a shotgun was also found at the scene there on campus, though it's unclear if it was used in the shooting. Ikner was shot but is still alive at this hour in a hospital there in the Tallahassee area. Police say, though, he is refusing to speak with them.
That's right. He has non-life-threatening injuries. This all unfolding at the Student Union, the heart of FSU. It's a central gathering place for students. The Student Union, again, in the middle of this sprawling large campus where more than 44,000 students are enrolled and 16,000 employees. And you have to keep in mind, the shooting started there near the Student Union at 11:50, just around lunchtime, where many people would have been gathered to eat or meet up or go to work at the Student Union.
Yeah, Martha, we began our live team coverage this hour with Channel 9 anchor Greg Warmoth, who is live in Tallahassee. And Greg, as soon as we got word about this shooting, I know you hit the road, headed there, and there is still a large police presence behind you.
There is, and I don't know if you can hear this or not, Darlene, but the bells of the Catholic Church are chiming right now on this Holy Thursday. We are right across the street from the Student Union. You may be able to see it over my right shoulder. It has a pointed roof. It is surrounded by investigators right now, and many of the students who heard the gunshots ran across the street behind me to this church. We'll hear from some of them in just a moment. My nephew attends FSU. My son attended FSU. I had nieces that attended FSU, and like many of our viewers, you have friends, family, relatives. This has been a shocking day to think of what happened to this beautiful campus because somebody got a gun and decided to open fire. What was it like at that very moment? One of the students sent me this video. The sound of gunfire. We've now learned that that was a deputy-issued revolver. It belonged to one of the deputies, a student resource officer here in this county, whose son is the one accused of at least 2 counts of murder and injuring of so many others. There's at least 6 others that are dealing with injuries, not to mention the psychological impact that all of this campus and really all of Florida is feeling right now tonight. In terms of that news conference, I've heard a lot of news conferences after school shootings, unfortunately, but this one was so much different because it was a deputy's son and a deputy's gun that created this shooting massacre here today. Take a listen.
But I will tell you this. We will make sure that we do everything we can to prosecute and make sure that we send a message to folks that this will never be tolerated here in Leon County, and I dare say across this state and across this nation.
The other thing about today, no school for the rest of the week, and there's also not a gathering that was called Active Against Hate. Ironically, that was canceled today as well. I bring in our reporter who has been on scene all afternoon. Sabrina Majori is with me. And Sabrina, you've talked with students, and I know that you've heard it in their voices and seen it in their faces, just how scared they were.
You can tell from these students how surreal this entire experience has been for them. We heard from students who told us they got an alert that actually blasted on a projector in one of their classrooms. That student told me he was sheltering in a classroom and he used a scissor thinking that that could be his last round of defense. He was terrified, and we know lots of students we spoke to ended up taking refuge at a church right next to the student union. We heard from the father of that church, one of the fathers at that church, who told us there were so many students. He told us he's never seen students that terrified in his life. So it was very difficult for him to kind of describe those events and describe what happened. And again, those students were taking refuge there. And on top of that, we also know that there were some students who were in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting. We've seen reports on social media that people who lived through that shooting were inside of FSU classrooms during this, when this all happened. One of the students I spoke to also told me he was friends with one of these students who went to Parkland and experienced that, and you know, it was just very surreal for them, telling us that they're now living through their second mass shooting.
Indescribable, really. I mean, you really just see the panic in people's faces, and everybody's sort of running away, not really understanding what's going on. As far as I understood, a lot of people were saying they thought it was construction at first. It's very hard to decipher unless you've heard a gunshot. You don't really know what's going on.
And we heard those gunshots earlier, and I see the tents outside of the church here, the Catholic Church, for their outdoor service tonight for Holy Thursday, and I know that just rings so much more true this Holy Week. How many people were hurt, how many families were hurt, and so many are really fortunate that they weren't injured, because this was a packed place when this shooting happened.
Yeah, and the father we spoke to, he runs, the Catholic events at this school. He told me immediately after he ushered the students to safety inside of this church, he immediately started texting so many of his students who he knew he works in close contact with. There's a real sense of panic as people are still, we're not sure who these victims are at this point. That's not been officially confirmed yet. And so a lot of people just still trying to make sure that their loved ones are safe right now.
Excellent job bringing you their perspective. And again, we're going to continue to follow the story, the vigils, and the healing. I listened to the president of Florida State talk about, we are here for the university, for the families of the victims, and we will heal together. Florida State is now Florida State Strong. They are now the latest on the list of a school shooting. I know one happened in 2014 at the library. This one is so much different than that one 11 years ago. And the students involved here at Florida State, as Sabrina mentioned, Darlene and Martha, have been through safety drills throughout their schooling because of what had happened in their life, what they had to witness. And then as they wrap up their school week, it happened here. Many of them were prepared. They put their hands up. They knew what to do, which in and of itself is good, but it's also bad. Reporting live in Tallahassee, Greg Warren with Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, Greg, thank you. You're alluding to the November 2014 shooting where a former FSU graduate opened fire at the library there, shot 3 people, no one dead, but obviously this one just causing just so much sadness, devastation. Law enforcement calling this a heinous crime and that the shooter will pay. We have video from inside a science classroom during the lockdown. Students huddled in place as the FSU emergency alert played out over the loudspeakers.
Attention. Attention. This is an FSU alert. A dangerous or life-threatening situation exists on campus. Take shelter now in a secure location.
Not a drill, the real deal. About 30 minutes ago, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis commenting on this tragedy.
Casey and I stand in solidarity and are praying for the entire Florida State community. We're mourning the 2 individuals who lost their lives in this tragic attack, and we wish well those who are currently recovering in the hospital. This killer must and will be brought to justice to the fullest extent of the law. I want to also thank the law enforcement personnel who were on the scene, both for the university as well as for the city of Tallahassee. They ran towards the danger. They stopped this killer from inflicting more harm, and there is no question that they saved lives. We are all Seminoles today. We stand by to help in any way that we can. God bless you, and God bless Florida State University.
All right, we continue our live team coverage with Channel 9's Ashlyn Webb. Ashlyn, you've been working to learn more about the suspect.
Yes, and we are now getting images of the suspect from his social media, but that Instagram account has been since shut down. We know that he was a student at FSU. Before that, he went to Lincoln High School in Tallahassee. We also know that Ikner was very close to the law enforcement community. His mother is Jessica Ikner, a veteran deputy with Leon County Sheriff's Office, who for several years was a school resource deputy. We are told that he used her old service weapon that she personally owned, authorities say, in that attack. 9 Investigates is also looking into Phoenix Ikner's time on the Leon County Sheriff's Youth Advisory Council. I just found he was selected to be on that council from 2021 to 2022. At that point, he was a junior at Lincoln High School in Tallahassee, and this council was in charge of advising the sheriff, reaching out to Leon County teens to connect with them about opportunities in the community, and also inform the agencies on issues impacting teens. This council required students to have good attendance records in school, so no unexcused absences, also a 2.0 GPA. He was just one of 8 students on this council for the sheriff's office. There are a lot of questions we have yet to answer about the suspect. We are working now to get in touch with those who knew him. Of course, we'll stay on top of this story, but for now, reporting in studio, Ashlyn Webb, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks a lot, Ashlyn. And again, here is a recap of what we know at this hour at 6 o'clock here on Eyewitness News about the shooting on the campus of FSU. 2 people are dead and 6 others are injured, being treated at a hospital there in Tallahassee. The shooter, as Ashlyn just mentioned, is Phoenix Ikner, who was a student at Florida State University and the son of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy. Investigators say they found his mother's former service weapon on the scene of that crime. Ikner was shot by police when they confronted him. They say he refused to put down his gun. He is currently being treated for non-life-threatening injuries there at a local hospital. Investigators say they also found a shotgun there on the scene. It's unclear if that was used in this shooting. The student union there on campus remains an active crime scene. We will, of course, continue to follow this breaking story and continue to bring you updates as they become available. And Martha, I want to mention this because I've seen this several times now. The campus was set to honor 2 people today, including an FSU senior who was shot and killed back in 2018 at a hot yoga studio. I know you likely recall that.
Yes.
There was a rally tonight called United Against Hate where they were going to shed light on the heinous murder that happened there with that FSU student who was a senior at the time, and hours earlier now, a mass shooting.
In 2014, a shooting on the campus as well. 3 people shot, no one killed in the library after a FSU graduate opened fire there. We're going to continue our special team coverage of the Florida State University